Okay, colleague, I want to talk you through how I'm approaching moments of genuine connection in my classroom practice in the fall of 2024. So, this won't be a high polished video. This is just going to be one colleague talking to another colleague. I recommend listening to me while you're entering grades, which I have to do after I make this video before I leave work for the day. Um, but I just want to talk through some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm not going to share how it's all going perfectly because it's not. I'm not going to share how it's super, super inspiring every time because it's definitely not. In fact, the key thing that I'm experiencing right now on September 5th is that it's super tiring. It's very, very, very tiring. So this year I have 133 kids on my clipboard, and I'm just highlighting their names when I do an MGC attempt with them. And the way that I started for this one is I looked at the things that they wrote, kind of get to know me stuff from the first couple days of school. I read through those things, and I just made little notes about anything that I thought would be, something I could talk to the student about during my first one-on-one with them. So, for one student it says that she loves horses. Another kid says he's skeptical of the whole concept and logic of school. Kid likes to race dirt bikes. Kid likes alone time. There's a young man that likes baking. A lot of hobbies and stuff here. Someone has a unique nickname I wanted to ask them about. But it's a lot of. I mean, it's just whatever they shared with me. I wrote it down here next to their names so that I have something to talk to them about. And so, there's a young man that I spoke to a couple mornings ago. He's usually the first kid into my class, so it's a great chance for an MGC right there before everyone else is in there. It's kind of private, which is important. I don't want these to be public because I don't want the kids to be, thinking more about who might be listening than they are thinking about me talking to them. And I just said, so what's something that you like to do outside of school? And he said he liked to work on tractors. And we talked about how he, has done this with his dad, and he's maybe interested in being a mechanic. And I just said, that's really cool. I'm glad that I get to teach you and that you shared that with me. And I think that's a great example of why this is so exhausting at first. Because I mean, what you're trying to do at first, at this point in the year, is you're trying to build a real version of that kid in your head and your heart. You want your students to inhabit a portion of your head and heart, because that's what it means to know somebody. I have you in me. I've taken the time to get to know you, and so you exist in here. So later on, once you get your first MGC round done, once you get to, October, November, December, it gets a lot easier to do these in a meaningful way and in a way that might inspire you, because you're not going to have to exert so much effort and energy trying to build the human being in your brain. So yeah, that was one kid. Another kid, he was wearing his football jersey because he had a game yesterday. So I said, hey, what position do you play? Do you think you'll get much play time? When did you start playing football? So I'm just doing a lot of question asking. For that student that I mentioned a little bit ago, he told me on the first day of school, and one of the things I asked him to write, he said he's skeptical of the whole concept of school and the logic of school. So when I pulled him aside, I said, hey, tell me about that. What do you mean? And he explained his problems with school, and that's been really important for me. So I had that MGC last week, I think, and that's been super important because now I can be compassionate to this kid, right? Because he's in ninth grade and he's got all just a regular schedule like everyone else. So he's got 6 classes a day. So when I teach him and when I see him exerting effort in fifth hour or fourth hour, I think is when I teach him, I just have a sense of fondness that's starting to grow because I know that he has skepticism about school. I take that skepticism seriously. So whenever I see him work, it's a little bit of a boost for me because this kid in my head, he's struggling with this, but here he is still trying, still doing work. Here's another kid that came into class early. She told me that she's in the band and she does color guard. And I kind of told her how, when I watch the color guard, I'm just kind of blown away by how many things that they're doing with their bodies and synchronicity with everyone else. And I just told her that I really appreciated that. Here's an example of a kid who came to me. So MGCs don't always have to be me seeking the student. Sometimes a student comes to you and the kid said, hey, I watched this historical movie over the weekend. I watched Reagan. Have you seen Reagan? And I said, no, I haven't seen it, but I'm going to check out the trailer. Thanks for letting me know. And, I watched the trailer during my prep or whatever. And I told them the next day, hey, I watched that trailer. That movie looks really cool. I'm excited to see that. I like the angle that they're taking of like the CIA thing or something. So it's just super basic stuff. And again, this is why I'm introverted. My batteries get filled by, reading something like David Brooks's How to Know a Person. When I'm at the end of my day and I'm trying to wind down, I'm typically reading a book. If I really want to relax in my house, I'm going to go into the study and I'm going to pull a book down. If I just have, that very rare free time that you really don't get when you have 4 kids and, just the things that you have to do in my stage of life with the life that I lead. So I'm just saying that as an introvert, it's especially hard to I'm adding all these people into me. And there's a certain level of exhaustion that even though I knew when I did the September invitation to the blog, I knew that I was going to be tired doing this, but I just know from the past that this really pays off. It pays off because it's going to be much easier for me to teach these students as I get to know them and I communicate to them that I'm interested in knowing them. One kid wrote that to him, respect is earned. And I just thought that was really interesting. I asked, where'd you get that? He said, well, my dad kind of taught me that. I said, man, tell your dad thank you. I think that's a great thing for a young person, a young man, a freshman in high school to be thinking about respect that much. I just think that's really notable. I'm glad that you're in my class. Let's see here. One student she's been really good at asking questions during class. When I say, hey, I'd love to hear some questions about this stuff that we just learned, her hand pops up and I just pulled her aside and said, just so you know, that really is helpful, not just for you, but for other students. That's a great, skilled capacity to ask questions when you're confused. And I know that it takes a certain amount of bravery. So I want you to know you are helping me. You are helping yourself, and you're helping your whole class by doing that. Keep it up. One student in one of my classes, she gives really extensive answers to questions. And, this is something that as a teacher, you can kind of get tired out by, right? Because your class time is really precious. And sometimes you want to, and sometimes I even do. I kind of tell them hey, try to bring your answer to a close because we want to keep things moving. But the way I approached that student, I said, where'd you get all this knowledge? You seem to have all this knowledge about all this stuff. And she was great about just telling me kind of where it came from and just, but what I'm doing there by asking that question is I just want you to know, I see you. And I'm also trying to train myself, to just appreciate what this individual student is bringing to my class. Another student, that I've been concerned about in class, he wrote that he really wants to make a lot of money. That's kind of his goal in life. And so I pulled him aside. I said, hey, where's this interest to make money come from? Most kids in 9th grade are not thinking about making money. And he, he told me some things that he does to earn money. And I said, that's really great. And I basically said, I promise you when we're learning new vocab words, because we'll be learning words every day that you're with me, just incidentally, when we read an article or a passage, we'll circle words, we'll define them real quick. I'll say, the more words that the easier it is going to be to just learn new things. And you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much a big vocabulary can help you in whatever endeavor you're going to pursue in life. So I'm glad that you have this interest. And I want you to just know that when we're working in my class, even though it's not going to seem like it, this is actually going to help you to achieve your goals. So these are just some examples, okay? Just some examples of the MGCs that I've had. And the big point of this video is just I want to help demystify this idea of moments of genuine connection. I want to help to create clarity for my colleagues about when I write about this in my book, what am I talking about? What does this work actually look like in a real teaching year? So when I make these videos about moments of genuine connection, that's the purpose. That's the purpose. And I also want to just surface and be blatant about the fact that it is a lot of emotional labor out of the gate. It's a lot of mental labor, spiritual labor, relational labor. And the reason that we're willing to do that is because it's going to make teaching easier, because it's going to build a sense of credibility in the students. It's going to make belonging easier for students. It's going to increase their likelihood to take risks for us, to do things for us that they maybe haven't done before. And it's going to deepen our own souls as well. It's going to deepen our own souls as well. So as I do this, I can, and I feel as tired as I feel today, I can be confident that this is not a waste of time. This is a good use of my time. This is an investment, a wise investment in my future with these students this year, and in my future just as a human being living and breathing.